Good evening, all. So, Dr. Ramesh, I think we can
Yes.
start. Yeah. Dr. Harris, I think you're there. Dr. Meera, yeah.
Dr. Anup, hope I'm
Okay.
audible.
You're audible. We will start it. So, good evening, everyone. So, today we gathered here to discuss about bird migration. All of you know it's a very fascinating phenomenon in the world. Like millions of birds are actually flying over our continent, oceans, and all. So today we will have a discussion on that. So for that, I would like to invite Dr. Harris to give a detailed introduction about our organization and also about the speaker. Dr. Harris, over to you.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Dr. Anup and Dr. Ramesh Kumar, our eminent ecologist on this today's session. Right. It's very. I'm very delighted to introduce Ramesh Kumar to this possible, a very current issue that we have focuses into the migrations of birds. So starting from the north end to the south end of India, we have sometimes experienced the migrations of different kinds of species, like including the ornithological aspects. The migration is the most interesting, and people are still elucidating the chemistry and the sciences of the migration. And I hope we get some light into the migrations of a bird, especially we have gone through the different types of migrations of falconets in the northeastern states. So, and coming to Kerala and Tamil Nadu sector, what I have witnessed in the last few years back, the migrations of starlings is, I don't know, it's not maybe a group of, starlings has been spotted. And there, while we are coming to the some bird sanctuaries like Kadalundi Bird Sanctuary and nearby other places like Point Gallimore, and we have much more experience what's actually the bird migrations is. And I'm looking into the deep of a bird migration from the Ramesh Kumar session. By the way, I'm taking this moment to invite all of you, especially the more bird migratory enthusiasts and the ornithologists and researchers to this session. I think many of you are much been in connect with the CTBC's update in various programs. So as part of a CBSE, I'm a, you know, right now I'm a chairperson of this institution. Meera is there. She's one of the most renowned wildlife conservationist and ornithologist. She had another research and on hornbill. And coming to my topic, taking this moment to invite everyone to this beautiful session and more, mind-blowing session. I'm looking into the Ramesh Kumar sessions eagerly to understand what is the science behind of, the migrations of birds. And without any further ado, I will definitely hand over my session to Ramesh Kumar. I just invite you everyone in person to our upcoming event, Tropical Bio Summit. It's a recurring event. The last year it has been held in Kerala, and this year it has been planned to organized in Kufos, Kerala Universities of Fisheries and Ocean Science, and it was proposed, and we can be get an updates from CTBC social media handling and be in touch with the program. And I invite everyone to present some of your interesting topic into that session, and it make networking. We actually looking into the Tropical Bio Summit chairperson and all the committee that's even the secretariats of TBS, that means Tropical Bio Summit, is actually looking into get into the pupil. And even we are trying to make a lot of connection. We are trying to make a lot of network within the scientific community and ecosystem. And this ecosystem will function to the conservations of biodiversity. And with the further ado, and hand over to the Ramesh Kumar. I invite you, Ramesh Kumar, for the session. Thank you, Doctor. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, yeah.
Thank you, Harish. Yes, yeah. Good evening, everyone, and for some of you, good morning or good afternoon. So, I am Dr. Ramesh, and currently I'm with the Central Asian Conservation Network. That is a network of NGOs and experts working on the issues in the Central Asian, flyway. I was formerly with the Bombay Natural History Society as a scientist, and I've done my doctorate from Salim Ali Center for Ornithology and Natural History in Coimbatore. Yeah, that's it about me. Let me share the screen.
Yeah, a kind interruption to Dr. Anup. I hope you can record the
Yeah, yeah,
session.
please,
Yeah.
please.
Please initiate the recording.
Yeah, yeah, it is already on. It's already on.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Can you see my screen presentation?
Yes, yes, visible. You can just hide that, like the hide button. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So once again, very good evening, and once again, I thank CTBC for organizing this webinar and inviting me to speak on the bird migration. So in this talk, I have kept contents to the basic level, to cover various level of audience. So we'll be covering four major things: what is migration, what is a flyway, what are the challenges in conservation of migratory birds, and what are the initiatives or conservation actions on ground going on. So these are the four major things we will be covering. So first thing, what is bird migration? For most of you may be aware of bird migration, but for those who are not aware, what is bird migration? So can we call regular birds flying from roosting ground to the feeding ground every day, can we call that flight as migration? No. Bird migration is a regular seasonal movement between breeding ground to the wintering ground and back. That is called actual migration. So usually the migration is from north to south, most of the migration, but there are other migrations also. I will come to that later. So birds coming to India, especially India and Sri Lanka, and also to Africa, they breed in the Arctic region. Most of the birds, they breed in the Arctic region. Some species may breed in, Russia, tundra region, Siberian region, and also in the Central Asian countries. So these birds, when winter, sets in, the entire Arctic or the northernmost hemisphere is filled with ice, and the weather is extreme, and because of several reasons, to find food, shelter, some birds they breed. In this case, most of the birds breed in the Arctic region, but there are some cases birds they migrate to some other places for just for breeding, and mainly to avoid this kind of extreme weather. So in May, from May to July, they breed in the Arctic region, and they slowly start migrating towards the southern part of the globe, especially in the tropical countries like Africa, India, Sri Lanka, and also to the Southeast Asian countries. So by August, they will be start coming to these locations. Some birds they directly come without non-stop, and some birds they take some stoppings at some locations, that is called stopover site. But in winter, that is roughly between November to February, there will be in its wintering grounds. That is in mostly in India, Sri Lanka, also in Maldives. Some of the birds, some of the species or some population, they also go to African countries, and some they go to Australia, Southeast Asia, Australia, those countries. So this is roughly called as the migration. So movement between breeding ground to the wintering ground and back. That is the migration. Migration we can call it. So these are some examples. This is a satellite tracking study by BNHS and one of my previous colleague, Dr. Bala. So it shows birds migrate from Russian breeding ground to the wintering ground. In this case, there is another good example. Bar-headed geese. This particular species is known to cross the Mount Everest. So we can imagine how high they fly and how strong their flight is. So this particular individual cat, it breeds in Mongolia, and they migrate, and they take some stoppings at some China, Mongolia, and other regions, and they come to India, especially to the southern part of India, and they spend the winter in the southern Kanyakumari region, and they go back to the breeding ground in the winter. So these are some examples, and this is one another wonderful example. This species is called bar-tailed godwit. They do non-stop migration. Some individual, they do non-stop migration from Alaska to New Zealand, covering 13,000 kilometer. Can you imagine 13,000 kilometer? I think it's now again it's beating its own record. But yeah, it don't take any stops on the way, because it's all sea. There are some islands, but most of the birds migrate non-stop, covering about 10,000 to 13,000 kilometer or test stretch. How these birds fuel this kind of long journeys? We know there is one component that we humans are most of us are trying to reduce or keep in the level, that is fat. So fat is some people they do this kind of hard exercise. Some people they run. Some people on low diet calorie, and some people really love to dance to some local tunes. But for birds, the fat is a very crucial, especially for the migratory birds. They feed vigorously before starting their migration. Let's say even from breeding ground to wintering ground, or also on the way back, they start feed vigorously to store the fat, to store enough fat. Wherever there is some space, they store the fat. Even some organs like visceral organ, they shrink before starting the migration. So on that space also the fat is stored. So each gram of fat fuels several kilometers. So fat is a very essential thing for these birds. Some of the issues like on the wintering ground, there are several threats. We will be talking about that later. So based on that, if a habitat or stopover site on for the particular species is gone, then it is they are getting less chance of building their fat, less chance of fueling their migratory journey. So it ends up in overall unsuccessful breeding, and even leads to the population level impacts on a longer run. So there are several types of migration. These are some broad categories. We can classify based on direction or based on how they migrate. These are some rough classification category just to understand. So there is a famous north to south migrations. Most of the birds they do, which coming to India, they do this north to south migration. But there are also south to north migration. Some species, especially these pelagic birds, they do south to north migrations. There are west to east migration, like wagtails and some other species. They do from west to eastwards migration. Some species they do east to west migration, like Amur falcon. They do migrate from East China to West Africa. East Africa, again, east to west migration. There is a type of migration called leapfrog migration. That is Nothing but, if you want to explain in a simple terms, it's the birds breeding in the northernmost, it's breeding ground. It flies southern, it winters in the southernmost, wintering area. The birds breeding in southern part of their breeding ground, they will fly very, short distances. They will not come further towards south. So it is called as leapfrog migration. Then another type of migration is loop or H-shaped migration. I don't know whether if you can see this black line, that is on the onward journey, they will follow certain route. On the backward journey, they take a different route just to avoid some extreme climate or extreme habitat or extreme conditions, or also to favor its maybe food availability is there on that route while on that return journey. So they take a different journey. So this H-shaped migration is called as loop migration. There are various other type of migration we can classify depending upon various factors, but I am just restricting here. And it's again a big question how birds navigate. It's also people are trying to answer the question, but I think it's still it's on the way. There are several theories and several studies suggest various factors, including sun compass, star compass. I hope you understand, keeping sun as a compass, and based on that birds navigate, and similarly keeping stars like just like our earlier maritime navy and people, merchants who navigate based on the stars. There is the theory that birds also does this kind of migration, having star as a fixed feature. And there are theories saying order map, and also this magnetic map. Earth itself is a magnet, and birds use that magnet, just to as a magnetic compass to navigate through the its pathway. And also there is a recent theory that cry for retina protein, that is cryptochrome. It's just the photoreceptor protein found in the retina of birds. They also they use this protein to navigate journey. I think it's it's a mixture of several components, several aspects. So we cannot say there is a single aspect. Probably it's a mixture of things. And migrating altitudes, some of, even I was thinking before coming to ornithology, I know a little bit of migration, but I was thinking birds always fly very close to ground, but it's not the case. Some species like swifts and swallows, robins and crows, they fly close to ground, but most of the migration, especially the songbirds or passerine birds, they fly between 10,000 to 15,000 feet. Some species like ducks and geese, they migrate between 15 to 20,000 feet, and some shorebirds, seabirds, and eagles and vultures, they fly very high, between 20 to 25,000 feet. It's a rough idea. So there are some species like bar-headed geese, as I mentioned earlier, they tend to cross Himalayas. Recent studies, again throws more light into the altitude of flight, and not just bar-headed geese. There are other species also, found to be crossing Everest. So let's come to the second, aspect of today's talk: flyway. What is flyway? It's just like our highway. Just imagine people, like us traveling from Delhi to Mumbai. We take some national highway or state highway. We stop at certain points for just, for having food or having rest. Same concept, not exactly, but this is the concept which applies for birds also. the birds, flying from Arctic to, or its breeding ground to the wintering ground, they follow certain routes, certain regular routes. Uh, every year they follow certain pathways or routes. There may be slight difference. They may come this way or they may take this way, but there are certain regular route the birds follow. This route is called as collection of these routes are called as flyway. To explain you a bit more, this is the definition of what is flyway: the entire range of migratory bird species. So it's not just one route, it's the entire range of the migratory bird species. So India is in Central Asian flyway. So you can imagine whole of India is in the Central Asian flyway. So it's not just one route, it's the regular, collection of pathways. It's called as, it's a range of migratory bird species moving on an annual basis between breeding and breeding areas, including stopover sites for resting and refueling. So this is the definition of flyway. I will explain a little bit more. So there are 9 major flyway. There are different again for flyway. There are various, but generally accepted terms are 9 major flyway. I think one flyway is missing here. I think that is West Pacific flyway. We will be concentrating on the Central Asian flyway, in which I am having a little bit of experience. So Central Asian flyway, it starts from again from Arctic, Russia to India, Sri Lanka, and in comes till this Maldives. India receives also population from adjacent flyways, that is East Asian Australasian flyway, also from African Eurasian flyway. This is also called as West Asian East African flyway. But most of the birds coming to India, Sri Lanka, Maldives, they come via this. They follow this Central Asian flyway. So again, to make it more clear, birds, they breed in Arctic region. They start the southward journey. They may stop, take stops at Central Asian countries or in the Mongolia or in China somewhere, and they again further move to wintering ground. They may take some stopovers in places like Chilka, or they can, some species or some population, some individuals, they complete their journey, their wintering within North India. They don't come to South India, but some individuals, they come to South India and also to Maldives. Some even move further to Reunion Islands, and also some species, they move again to Australia. So this Central Asian flyway region, it has it's used by over 600 species, including water birds, land birds, raptors, including all species. About 600 species use this flyway for migration, and approximately 8% of these species, the 600 species, are globally threatened. This is one of the shortest flyway, but it has highest numbers of threatened species, highest proportion of threatened species, and 40%, about 40% of the species are declining. The population is in declining trend, which includes raptors in the top. 54% of the raptor species are in decline. 51% of water birds are in declining trend. So we know all these flyway and these all these flyway concept, migration, all through these studies: bird ringing, color flagging, radar observation, satellite tagging, and also simple bird monitoring. Through these studies, we designate, this bird is coming from this side, and this is starting in this month. So we know that. So this is the migration happening, and this is the flyway. So before even this proper structured study, there are information on bird migration in ancient historical records, literature, almost in all literature. India is again very old. We have literatures from Sanskrit and also from literatures in Tamil and other languages. This one example that I know of is this particular poet. Those days, these scholars, poets, they are poor. I think nothing much changed. Even now, scholars are poor, I would say. But those days they are poor, and they tend to know they go to the kings and they praise the kings, or they showcase their scholar talents, and they get some monetary benefit. So based on that, they make the living. This particular poet, who is an ancient, this is just an AI image, but he is a poet from Purananuru literature in Tamil. So he is on the way to meet his king, but he's not able to meet the king because of some reason. So he is starved, and he is very hungry, and he's very tired, and he takes rest on this rock, and he sees the white stork. Two white stork flying above him towards northward. So he is the place mentioned in the poem. It's somewhere here. So he says, "Hey, stork, just stop for a moment. I know you have come from north, and you have spent your winters with your pair in at the Kanyakumari, that is in the southern tip, and now you are on the way to your home in the north. So on the way back, my wife, that his home, his native is somewhere here. So my wife will be waiting for me on my house." He describes his village location. There is a pond, and he describes, just how our researchers describe the study area. He describes in the poem. So he asked the white storks to stop by at his home and tell his wife that he is yet to meet his king, and since already winter is setting, he is without proper clothes, and he is suffering from the winds from the winter. So this is how the story goes. So we know there is this particular poet has really documents. The not from north, it comes to the white stork, comes to the south, and goes back to north. So now I think the white stork migration to the southern India, I think it's very not much of records, but of course on those times he has recorded. So this kind of several records are in Tamil and also in Sanskrit literatures. I believe in it. It's same with the other languages and historical cultural records. So coming to the proper study, the bird ringing was one of the, and is one of the pioneering method to track the birds. It's nothing but just to tag a birds with a metal ring with a unique number, just like our passport number. These metal rings will have a unique number, and it varies on size depending upon the size of the bird and its leg. So this is how this picture shows. This is how a bird ringing camp or a place looks like. So here I'm holding a bird which is to be ringed, or it's already ringed, and this basket is full of birds to be ringed. And the person who is Dr. Balachandran, he is well-known ringer along the Central Asian Flyway. His ringing has provided a lot of information for the Central Asian Flyway and also to the adjacent flyway. So this is how ringing is done. This is a ringing player. I'm not going into detail. Probably in the workshop which is being organized by CTBC, I will explain in detail how the ringing is done. So once the ringing is done, we take measurements of birds, all the measurements from beak to the body length, also wing length, tarsus, tail length, everything which is a huge one. So we put lot of effort, lot of resources to capture the birds. So once the bird is in hand, we try to use the bird maximum, and not everyone can ring these birds. Only experienced ringers can ring the bird because it's birds. It's a very fragile, organism. So if you are, holding it for a long time, then it can have a lot of negative, pressure on the birds. So we usually, try to release the bird immediately after the ringing. So this Palni Hill laughing thrush from Kodaikanal. So it's angry on me. Yeah, let's go. This is how we do the bird ringing. And the color flagging, it's also applies the same concept of ringing. But here the bird is flagged with some color, color flags. This is a color flag from northern India. There are different color codes for different countries. So these days, with a lot of naturalists and bird watchers with a long, good cameras, they can easily capture these numbers, and we get a lot of resighting. Earlier, with the metal ring, only if we recapture the bird, then you will be able to read the rings. So if we deploy 100 rings, we get chance of getting back 1 or 2 rings maximum. But these color flags, if we tag 100 individual, we get back nearly to some 20 to 30% of resighting, just because of we have all binoculars, long cameras, so easily we can read. But its life is shorter than the rings, but it gives good results. So this is the color code currently in use by East Asian Australasian Flyway Partnership in India and some of the Central Asian Flyway countries. We use this, color codes because as for the Central Asian Flyway, we doesn't have a separate color code. So for the Southern India, it's black, flag with yellow engraved. And for the northern India, it's 2 white flag, 1 white flag, empty flag, and 1 flag with numbers written in red. So these are some of the results of the ringing. You can see this is old BNHS ringing done in Bharatpur. It was again published by my colleague Dr. Bala in his book Bird Migration Atlas. So it is tufted back or tufted portrait. It migrates, it's all ringing recoveries. It's either ringed from here, recovered here, or it's ringed from here, recovered there. So this is how we know all these birds are coming from this area, and it comes to Bharatpur. Some birds, they may also migrate further south, but at that point of time, there was not much of studies, and maybe particular this species is not migrating further south. This is the result of color flag. It's of great knot. This place is Koringa. My colleagues have done some studies on, they have recovered these color flags from China. So that also provides very good information on the birds. Then other method of study is using radars. Here we here we don't use much radars, but other countries, they do use a bird radar or even the weather radars to monitor the bird migration. So this particular video, it shows, I think it's a live bird migration map. On every day you can see all these green data radars, and all these are movement of birds. So there are different methods. So another very useful but little costly method is satellite tagging. So it is just like our GPS tracking of vehicles. It's all GPS enabled satellite tags. So it can give a real-time location of the birds. And earlier it was the size of the tags were large and only large birds were able to tag. But now, because of growing technology, the tags are getting smaller and smaller. I think this is a 3.5 gram tag, but again there is a like around 1 gram tag is in it's already in market now. So we can use it for smaller birds like curlew sandpiper, or even small spoonbill sandpaper. Small birds we can use and track the study. The only issue is that it's a bit costlier. When the size of the tag gets smaller, the price goes up. So some flyways, it's used extensively in Central Asian flyway. So far, there are not much of studies compared to the other flyway, but it's picking up. A lot of studies, it's being done. In India, there are very few satellite tracking is done compared to the other flyway countries, but we are also trying to tag more birds. There are several issues. One, as I said, it's a cost, and there are difficulty in getting permissions to tag these birds. That is also one issue we found with some states. So this is the result. Again, this bar-headed geese migration. So you can see these these straight lines are recovery from color flags, or I think by the rings. But you can see only the location of origin or location of the recovery or resighting of the color flag or ring is known from the color flag and ringing study. But this black line is the satellite tracking. You can see where the bird is, where it is going, at what altitude it flies, and where it is stopping, and how many days it is stopping in one particular location, for how many days it's spending in winter, in the breeding ground. So all that crucial information can be gathered from one single satellite tag, if that is successful. So this is the difference between satellite tags and color flags, but both are essential because it's a low cost method. It involves a lot of cost, but if we can tag some satellite tag for some crucial threatened species, that would be very useful for its conservation. Okay, we are coming to the third part, that is threats or challenges. There are several threats for the migratory birds. The Central Asian flyway, the countries, most of the countries are economically developing and highly populated countries like India, China, and there is a huge economic and huge anthropogenic pressure on the habitat of migratory birds. A lot of developments, a lot of things happening in and around the migratory bird habitat. So these are some of the major threats. There are several other threats. These are some of the major threats I have listed, like land use pattern changes. Also the habitat loss and degradation. These are interconnected. Say if for agriculture, we are encroaching more and more lands for agriculture, wetlands, forest lands, grasslands for agriculture. So that can have a negative effect on the birds, because if a wetland is occupied for aquaculture farms like prawn farms and other things, then that habitat is changed, that land use pattern is changed. So the mudflats found in those areas are gone. So some of the migratory species like waders or shorebirds, these mudflats are very crucial because they are highly adapted to these mudflats. They feed on the invertebrates, polychaete worms in the mudflats. So if that mud flat is changed or degraded, then their food is, the getting food is chance of getting food is reduced. So as I said earlier, this is happening across the flyway, not just in one place. If it is happening in one place, it can go to the other place. But everywhere, some or the other pressure is there. So it's getting difficult and difficult. That is why the water birds are also one of the a highly declining group of birds among all the birds. So there are a lot of pressure on water birds. There are also pressure on raptors. Raptors like developmental, renewable energy infrastructures like wind farms, power lines during migration, and also during the daily moments. These birds, raptors, get to collide with these tall structures. This is one of the growing issue. We know the scenario of vultures in India, in Asia, they have declined, and several organizations are working to recover that population. The sad thing is, even when the population is slowly started to recover because of efforts of conservation, breeding, and other efforts, the birds, some of the birds, they after released from conservation breeding, it collided with power lines and it died. So there are growing issues for this kind of raptor species. And hunting and poaching, as per Indian Wildlife Protection Act, hunting and poaching of almost all birds of all species, and I could say all migratory bird species are banned or prohibited by the law. But there are hunting is happening. I will show you the examples. Then again, plastic pollution. It also affect the migratory birds. Not direct mortality, but it affects its breeding success. There are studies showing it's the slow mortality of birds, also the pollution, sewage, industrial effluents, all those things affects the birds in different ways. Finally, climate change. Climate change itself, we cannot directly say, but there are things happening because of climate change. Definitely, it has a negative impact on the migratory birds. I will tell you one example. Again, for the shorebirds, temperature rise and sea level rise, it leads to the submerge of these mudflats under the seawater. So the entire mudflat is gone. Their feeding ground is gone. That happens in the wintering ground. Again, extreme weathers. I have because of cyclones and extreme weather conditions, there are a lot of direct mortality also happens. And on the Arctic, breeding area, that ice melting, glacier melting, all those ice melting pattern is slowly changing, so that the availability of food and availability of nesting grounds also changing. So birds, it's happening very quickly, so that birds are finding it very difficult to adapt for these quick changes. So that is also having impact on on the population level. So I will tell two crucial threats. This habitat degradation, it's one of the major threat in the Central Asian flyway. There are encroachment, as I said, places like Mumbai coast is again a very good habitat for migratory birds. Also in the east coast, if you take east coast, Pulket Lake, Chennai, adjacent Chennai, Palikarnai Marsh, and if you're coming down again, this Point Kilimanjaro and other areas, there is a lot of encroachment, especially in the areas where the big metro cities are there in like Mumbai, Chennai, those areas. These habitats like wetlands and coastal areas are encroached for different purposes, for building ports, building jetties, or building the human habitations like townships and other things. And as I said, reclamation, siltation, Non-scientific intervention. There are a lot of non-scientific intervention happening in management of this crucial habitat. I would say one example, the plantation of mangroves in the again in the mudflats. Mangrove plantation is very good for some reasons. If you plant it in a right place where there was mangroves historically present, it's well and good. But if you plant mangrove in a pristine mudflats that were historically mudflat, then that is going to have a very bad impact on the mudflats, because mangroves, they grow very fast. They cover entire mudflat area. And they convert that area into completely vegetated area, and again gives very less chance to birds to feed. So this is one just example. It is just like planting exotic species in the forest area. Can compare it in that way. There were in India, there after during colonial period and after colonial period, there were a lot of eucalyptus and wattle trees and other exotic species were planted in pristine shola forest and also in the rainforest for different purposes, and also just to as part of the forest management plans. But now we are paying the price. So similarly, now this mangrove plantation has taken up in a big way, and there are a lot of NGOs are doing nothing wrong, but we have to be very scientific in planting mangroves. And other threats like dredging, blocking of seamouth, as I said, aquaculture in many areas in east coast of India are now already being converted to prawn culture, aquaculture. So again, there is a loss of habitat. And non-conventional salt production, large corporates are into this non-conventional salt production. This conventional salt production, in many ways, it provides a habitat during some point of time, but a non-conventional salt pan, it does provide some areas, but since it occupies large areas, it has some negative impact on the birds as well. And also sand mining infrastructure, sports, roads, and these are for the water birds. Similar for the shore birds, these open grasslands and open habitat ecosystem. It is sometimes, not sometimes, many a times it's considered as wastelands, and it is allocated for developmental activities in most of the states, at least in India. So that also, grasslands are crucial for many migratory birds, including songbirds, passerines, and also for several raptors. It is a huge habitat, and also for birds like great Indian bustard and Bengal florican. These are the crucial habitat which is being converted into industries, sites, and other developmental areas. So illegal hunting or even legal hunting in some countries are happening. In India, all the hunting are illegal because as per the law it's prohibited. So these are some of the reports from daily newspapers or some other sources. You can find almost in all states there are reports of illegal hunting. I know Forest Department and other enforcing agencies are working hard to stop the hunting and illegal poaching and other things, but there are in some pockets where the enforcement can't be very strong. It's going on, and in some countries it's legal to some extent. Some countries it's it's still illegal, but this is a rough estimate of birds. Approximately 7 million birds are being killed every year in the Central Asian flyway countries. That is again it's partial covering. It's from the Central Asian flyway situation analysis, both of these tables. So what birds are being killed? Almost all birds, water birds, land birds, raptors and vultures, It's because of poisoning and other things, these vultures. Most of the countries, they don't consume vultures or in general raptors, but these water birds and land birds are killed for, for food. Again, water birds. So there are almost all birds are being killed for different purposes and different methods, from shooting to trapping to other poisoning. There are different methods are used for this illegal hunting. So what are the conservation actions we can take to minimize these impacts? There are several conservation actions suggested or being taken by governments and organizations, NGOs, and individuals. At flyway level, these are some aspects, some major things, broad category. Which needs to be prioritized, like identifying and designating key sites in the flyway. We know all the sites in the flyway are important for the migratory birds. There are, thousands of wetlands. All wetlands are important for, these birds. But just to prioritize, if you take 100 or 150 wetlands, crucial wetlands which supports the crucial number of birds, number of population. So if we start with that, I think it's much easier for policy makers, much easier for organization to work with, instead of focusing on 100 small wetlands, or wetlands which is less important comparing to the other wetlands. So identifying crucial wetlands or habitats like grasslands and other forest areas is very essential. There are several exercise on it's being carried out by different organization. Again, national level, also identifying key sites is very important. India has done at least at the beginning level, there are some 79 sites identified within India. There are a couple of other countries, the flyway, that has identified important migratory bird area in the country, and also focusing on some threatened migratory species. Like preparing single species action plans for some of the key species, and providing legal protection for those species and also for the habitat. And some of the areas, most of the areas, I would say, is outside the protected area. So working with the local communities is also a key thing, to conserve these migratory birds. And also reducing the anthropogenic pressures. As I said, there are level collisions and pollutions happening. Reducing these anthropogenic pressures also an important thing to do. And of course, research and monitoring, which is also a crucial part, which will lead to the successful or more scientific conservation actions on ground. So at national level, I will talk about India. So there is an action plan exists, India's National Action Plan for Conservation of Migratory Birds in the Central Asian Flyway. So based on that National Action Plan, which is launched on 2018, it was for 5 years till 2023. Currently, I believe the government is in reviewing the implemented actions and coming up with some new action plan. So in this action plan, 79 sites across India are prioritized as important sites for the migratory birds. There are 20 species again prioritized for conservation. Several threatened species and important species, which which is as per the view of Indian scenario, these 20 species are very important, for which single species action plan has been prepared, and it is with the Ministry of Environment and Forest for consideration. And capacity building was also one of the important components, because several forest frontline staffs, they are not aware of the migration and flyway level issues. Some are very good, but in general they are not very much aware of these things. So one of the priority is to build the capacity and also to build the research and monitoring. So there are examples of conservation like in Nagaland, the Amur falcon which migrates from East China to Africa. They stop at this Nagaland in large numbers. So there were a lot of funding was going on. So a lot of organization involved, and finally the hunting has been stopped to large extent, and the species is conserved, at least in that location to some extent. So I will tell one more example, restoration of this salt pan in Kanyakumari, again by this migratory bird monitoring trust. It is a small patch of salt pan was abandoned. It was not used by the birds to the maximum. So this organization was stepped in, and they have come up with some restoration mechanisms, some simple techniques like providing maintaining the water level and also providing some roosting structures. So it worked well, and now that place is like it's a paradise for the migrating seabirds, especially terns and gulls. Since it's on the southern tip of the country and then the landmass, several birds they take stop at the site before further migrating on their journeys. So that is at national level. At flyway level, because these migratory bird that doesn't stop at one country, it's very essential to have a collaboration with or cooperation with other multiple countries for successful conservation. That's why there are a lot of frameworks for this migratory bird conservation. Starting from the Convention on Migratory Species, that is CMS shortly called as. There are I think about 180 countries are party to this Convention on Migratory Species. And also there are several MOUs and agreements like Raptor MOU, which is again a sister agreement of CMS, African Eurasian Waterbird Agreement, African Eurasian Migratory Landbird Action Plan. There is a Arctic Migratory Bird Initiative, then East Asian Australasian Flyway Partnership, and other large convention like CBD and Ramsar Convention also work on this migratory bird conservation and their habitat. And there are international organizations like WWF, Hans Little Foundation, BirdLife International, IUCN, and Wetlands International working together to build collaborations and to work on the flyway level. The Central Asian Conservation Network. Currently, I am part of this network. So we have recently started last year, and we have about 15 partners and organizations and also 50 plus experts, and we have several working groups on key aspects like key sites, database, green energy, volunteers, ringing and tagging, and species specific working groups. So we are trying to build again collaboration among the organization in the flyway and work on some key aspects like identifying key sites and involving communities in these key sites. So we are working on these aspects. And for the flyway level, there are for the East Asian and Australasian flyway, there is already an partnership in place, and for African Eurasian flyway, there is an agreement in place. There is a lot of cooperation going among the countries. But for Central Asian flyway, it's very slow. It was at least very slow. But in recent years, the momentum has picked up, and in the last COP, that was in Uzbekistan, an initiative for Central Asian flyway was launched. It's a resolution. It's an initiative launched, and all the countries. CMS parties have agreed to cooperate with this agreement. It mainly emphasis on the cooperation of countries in protecting habitat, protecting species, and all those building capacity, exchange of knowledge, all these things we talked about so far. So hopefully India is taking again lead on this initiative, and India is supposed to start a coordination unit for this initiative. I believe within this near future, a coordination unit will be set up, and again, lot of coordinated actions will be happening in the flyway. So the next COP is happening in Brazil. So hopefully there is some discussion on the Central Asian flyways also will happen in the COP. So that's all for now. I can discuss each of these
Yeah.
topics.
Thank you, Ramesh. There are actually many questions in the chat session. Maybe I will read that out.
Yeah, definitely. But can you give me just 1 second? I will just drink some water and come. Yeah,
Sure, sure,
just
sure.
1 second.
Please. Yeah.
Yeah.
So all of you can actually write your questions here. So we will have a discussion on that. And yeah. So first question is like it's about construction. So the concern is like constructions are coming everywhere. It's getting urbanized. So actually some species are getting adapted to the urban area. So what we can do, the solution, like, so that is the question.
Yeah. So to answer that, there are some species they get adapted to the human environment, and for them it's completely fine. Of course, some species they thrive in human areas, but many of these migratory species, as I was saying, shorebirds, raptors, they are very habitat specific. So building and other things, infrastructures are of very, it's a negative aspect. To address that, again, conservation planning, city planning, all those things should include more scientific way of building things. So several countries they now adopt more nature based solutions, and come up with green buildings and green infrastructures. So there are efforts are going on, but still I think there is a long way to go.
Okay. So there is another question like whether there is any genetic trait which actually helping few species to become these migratory birds. So I mean he or she mentioned it's a migration superstars.
Migration, sorry.
No, the question is like whether there is any genetic trait which help birds actually to do the migration.
Yes. Of course, there are genetic traits, and evolution is evolution and genetics. They go hand in hand. Of course, evolution was the one major reason for some species of birds to adopt this migration as a technique to survive.
Okay, there's another question: how global warming will affect bird migration in the future?
Yeah, I just mentioned one example. So global warming means sea level rise. Sea level rise means the habitat, crucial habitat like mudflats and other wetlands are submerged, or the salinity increases because of sea water inflow. So there is a loss of habitat for those particular species which are adapted to that particular habitat. So again, there are a lot of things happening in the Arctic because of the global warming, ice melting, change in the habitat. So that also affect the food availability, breeding success of these birds. So that's the one example I could generally say it's the climate change and global warming is affecting the migratory birds.
Okay. Next question is whether artificial lighting will have any role, like in their migration,
Artificial.
navigation, lighting,
Yeah,
lights.
of course, yeah. So there is a topic called light pollution. The pollution, I don't know, I didn't mention. Probably we can discuss in the uh, workshop much in detail. But light pollution is having a impact on migratory birds, especially for navigating. Some species are getting diverted. Some species are attracted to lights. And I have seen my there are species birds getting collided with the lighthouses and also large, lights. So there is a impact.
Okay. So there are other question like what are the implications of bird control devices such as netting, eagle eye, spike, ultrasound repellent, and beeswax? Like whether it will impact the migration patterns of birds.
Uh, I don't know. I can answer this, but yeah, it may. I don't know. Migration, as I was saying, it all happens in a slightly in a higher altitude, and sometime for some passerine birds which are flying very close, or some migratory species on its wintering ground or in a nesting ground, some of these things can have some effect.
Okay. Almost another question is there in similar way, like whether the
Uh,
color of any structure, building and all, for example, white color, whether that have a role.
Yes, I think there is there is a lot of research going on, especially like these tall structures, like wind farms, wind turbines. So there are a lot of collision happening in wind turbines. So the one of the solution was to paint a blade with different color. If mostly the wind turbines are white in color, and if we paint with black color or with color, there is study saying it reduces the collision of at least some species collision. So there are some I think relation between colors and the visibility in general. It's visibility of the structures.
Okay. Next question. How do changes in water quality and limnological factors of wetlands influence the stopover choice of migratory birds?
Yeah, it's basically the prey base. It changes the prey base. So maybe water quality can have a negative or positive impact on the abundance and availability and distribution of prey in one particular wetland. So that decides the usage of that particular wetland by birds, and also the water level. It again directly leads to the availability, but availability of prey. But water levels, it's again a crucial thing because these shorebirds, they prefer shallow water. Some ducks, they may prefer deep waters. So depending upon species, uh, these water parameters and the physical things can have effects.
Okay. Next question. Where can we go for a practical bird ringing courses?
Bird ringing courses in India, it's offered by BNHS. There are camps happening bird ringing camps. Earlier, even I was conducting a couple of camps in Point Kilimer. So there are, I think, still it's continuing some short camps for bird ringing. Probably BNHS earlier they used to have a ornithological course, and they had ringing as one of the component. So probably that is the best place to go in India. But there are other institutes, and I think ICER Tripadi Robin is also not as course, but as a kind of internship and dissertation we can associate with those kind of institutes.
Okay. Next question: with climate change shifting, whether birds are also changing their migration routes or timing?
Yes, the arrival time and departure time of birds are getting changed because of climate change, and also the pathways also because of the several, not the several effect caused by this climate change, like availability of food or availability of wetland, or like heavy rain, severe temperature. All those things directly or indirectly alters the timing and the pathways routes of migratory birds.
Okay. So next question: do birds that have undergone processes of tagging have lower chances of survival in the wild?
Initially, before coming to this, ringing aspect, I was also thinking in that way. But studies says that it doesn't have a significant impact on the survival of the birds. Of course, there are recoveries of birds after 30 years, after 35 years. So it doesn't significantly affect. Of course, it will be some uncomfortable in the beginning, but it does not have that significant impact on the survival of birds if it is done in a right way. If some new ringer, if it tags bird, by mistake, some different size, then there is a high chance of mortality.
Okay. Next question: which stopover sites in India are most important for migratory birds?
There are several stopover sites for different species. At least for water birds, there are sites like Pong Dam, Bharatpur, Chilka Lake, also in East Coast again this Pulicat Lake, Koringa Wildlife Sanctuary, Point Kilimer, Gulf of Mannar. In the West Coast, Mumbai coast, and almost all part of Gujarat coast is very crucial for water birds. And for land birds also, there are some crucial bottleneck sites in Northeast India, and also wintering sites in Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats.
Okay. So next question, one question is already, it's a repetition. Another question with that, how can coordinated conservation efforts help protect species that migrate across multiple countries?
Okay, I will tell you one example. Suppose in India, we are protecting all the species. The hunting is banned. At least in paper, there is no hunting is happening. So suppose one bird, one duck is migrating from India, or on the way back it migrating through Russia. So Russia hunting is allowed to some extent. So if that bird is being getting shot, getting killed, then the conservation effort, whatever we are putting here, it's it's kind of wasted. And moreover, it's a platform to knowledge sharing, because if there is a cooperation among scientists, among conservationists, among governments, so knowledge is being shared regularly. So there is an update: oh, this bird is migrating here, and this bird is the population is highly declining in our area, and now it's the same with your area. So we have to give priority for this species, and also this kind of knowledge exchange and cooperation. Without this, I think conserving migratory birds, it's very difficult. That's why all these international organizations and conventions are there.
Okay. There is another question. Why do some birds go all in with non-stop flights while others take breaks? What is the evolutionary logic there?
I think it's all again depends upon species to species evolutionary. I don't know why exactly they does that, but it's again depending upon the area it needs to go, destination, origin, all those things. But it's all evolutionary proven. Even I don't know I can answer that correctly. Sorry.
Yeah. And there is a very big question. So, Najmul Hassan, if you're there, you can ask it like a short, as short. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible. Please.
Yes, Nalin. Yeah.
Okay. I am a wildlife and conservation biologist from Bangladesh. I particularly focusing on the ecoclimatic impact on wildlife, and have currently done a lot of projects. And my question is, do you include the ecoclimatic ingredients like climatic or ecological variable as you are tracking the migration route of birds? You can use those variable and can predict the current suitable climate route of our birds, and also in future climate aspect you can also predict is there any shifting of birds migration route. I asking you that do you think to include this type of works in your current project, as you have already working on the GPS tracking of migratory birds? I hope if you incorporate this type of work, you can mapping the current suitable climate space or climate road for migratory bird that will help to conserving the global migratory bird species. Thank you.
Thank you, Najmal. I personally, I am not involved in this tracking project, but my colleagues are. So of course, they are looking at these factors as well. And some of my colleagues have come up with some publications also in these aspects. But at least for in India, there are colleagues trying to incorporate these aspects into their studies. Thank you.
Yeah. So next question is whether rooftop solar panels have a harm to birds. Whether they will mistake it a wetland or something.
Yes. There are, I think, some incidents of birds, mistaking the solar panels, especially the solar farms, large solar farms, not on the rooftop panels, but it's not much explored, but there are incidental reports and studies suggesting that. But on the rooftop thing, I'm not probably not to instance, but comparing to the positive side of solar energy, rooftop solar energy, I personally would say it's a good thing to go, because other forms of green energy, as I was saying, wind energy is again a crucial negative aspect for the migratory birds. So at least solar energy, at least in the built-up areas in townships, that should not have that much of negative impact compared to the other forms of energy.
Okay. So next question is, do migratory birds help spreading invasive plants by carrying their seeds?
I'm not aware of that they spread diseases, avian flu and other diseases, but invasive species, I don't know, especially some water, some land birds. They may, especially the birds, frugivorous birds like some birds, they may do, but I have not really looked to those aspect.
Okay. So other questions are like kind of repetition. Yeah, and yeah, another one question: how does aeroplane routes affect on migratory birds' flyway path? Whether they will change their pathways due to the activity, I mean, anthropogenic activities.
No, I think it's a flight is it's a it may have some this thing, but it's a short short duration and short duration so I don't know some and there are very few reports of birds colliding with flight uh, during after taking off on the flight mode. There are very few reports. There are more reports of birds colliding with airplanes while taking off and landing. So I think it's not that significant. Maybe in future when
Yeah.
flight activities more.
Okay. Thank you so much, Ramesh. And before concluding this, I think I have read most of the questions, and there are some requests to guide and all. So all that students can actually send an email to us, and if you need help from Dr. Ramesh, we will forward to him. No problem. And I just want to announce like other two programs which we are organizing. One is an international conference called Tropical Bio Summit that will happen in November 19th to 21st. So, like invited speakers from across the world are coming and joining us. Also, the participants. So, we would like to invite all of you to that program, and that's a hybrid. So you can join or you can come to Cochin, Kerala, India. Also, you can join online too. And another one more program on the same subject, bird migration. We are going to conduct a 4 days workshop that is also online. So that is happening after 1 week. So if you check our Instagram or our the link we will share for both of these. So you can actually go through that. If anyone is interested, you can join in our future programs. We have multiple workshops and offline online workshops, research project. CTBC is handling research project in different parts of India. So yeah, so and so finally, before concluding it, I would like to thank Dr. Ramesh for his wonderful presentation and spending time with us, and also for the the discussion and everything. So, behalf of CTBC, I would like to thank him, and also I would like to thank all the participants. And one more thing, we will share you this recorded version of this if anyone missed anything. So you can ask if you want any clarification in the group. Also, we have a made a question. Made a group also. So if there is any questions which you want to answer from Ramesh, I will forward to Ramesh, and I will forward the answer also in the group. Right. And Ramesh, do you want to add anything?
No, I thank Anup and other colleagues in the CTBC for inviting me, and I personally thank all the participants for patiently listening to the talk. And I look forward to the workshop. I think some of you have already registered for the workshop, so I look forward to the workshop. To discuss all these things in detail. Thank you, Anup, and thank you, everyone.
Thank you all. Yeah, this all the links we will share with you, and whoever have registered in our link, like a attendance link, will receive your certificates within it will take days because we have several participants, more than 1 week. But within 10 days, we will circulate the certificates to all of you. Like e-certificate we will send, and all the links for the future workshops and our research activities, everything will be shared in the group. Yeah. So thank you once again. Thank you all.
Thank you. Bye bye. Bye everyone.